And do
All
you
right,
feel cool
and
in it?
welcome back, y'all, to the Safehouse Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things Payday. As always, we're joined with Sea Dog, Noli, and myself, Vice. And today we have special guest LilGuyG. You may recognize him as a long-time Payday content creator for about 10 years now, and as of late has done an excellent job recreating the Payday soundtracks, all in a cappella, of course, with help with other people as well in the Payday community. But yeah, LilGuyG, everybody.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, always great to have you here. Um, so yeah, I mean, you've been at this a while, man. When exactly did you join the Payday community, so to speak?
Christ, yeah. So all the way back to the beginning, it was probably when the demo came out on Xbox 360. That's when I first played the game, and then I got my first PC in February of like 2014 or something, and then I saw Payday on sale. So I was obviously like, oh, there's the game I loved playing on Xbox with some of my friends on the demo. So I just picked it up. Just got hooked on it ever since, pretty much. And then yeah, like when I was in school, I was pretty much just picking up video editing as sort of a hobby because I'd done like media studies and that kind of stuff in school, just video editing stuff. But I also did like music on the side, played the drums, did singing, musical theater. I was a theater kid in school pretty much. Yeah, I sort of took that with me through every stage of life pretty much, like in college, did more stuff. And then we had obviously 2020 hit, and that was obviously a weird time for everyone. And I just didn't really know what to do. 2021, still didn't really know. But like ever since then, though, I was still playing Payday on and off, kind of. Like I was still struggling to get my footing in terms of like creating content. I always like whenever I look back at my older videos, I kind of cringe a little bit because I'm sort of like you can kind of tell I'm trying to get my footing. I'm stuttering constantly. I'm one taking everything. I'm just going, yeah. So yeah. It's just embarrassing to watch. But once again, like if everyone watches their old videos and they kind of cringe, that's what makes who you are today, right? You have to go through that crap phase of your content creation to get to the good stuff, right? But it was only until last year, so literally almost a year today, where stuff really kicked off for me personally. I mean, really quickly going back to the school days, I watched the OG Mario the Top Hat in school. I remember watching him when I was first in school, just doing his thing, PSAs, the edits, and all of that. I was just like, yeah, I want to do some editing like this guy, and then I just sort of got inspired that way. But then, yeah, over the years, I just sort of did videos here and there, just trying to build up skills. And then a year ago was when I did the President's Play series, like the AI stuff. So for those who don't know, there was a big trend last year with presidents chatting shit, playing games. You had Donald Trump and Biden and Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, like just trash talking each other whilst playing games. And I thought these are so funny. I was like, I wonder how they would play Payday. So I was like, oh, let me boot up Shadow Raid and just pretend that they're doing a stealth on Shadow Raid. That'd be kind of funny. And then like obviously Biden slept through the entire heist, and then he wakes up and just runs head on in with a minigun, killing everyone. I just thought it'd be a funny ending to it. But yeah, I did that first episode, and then it got loads of views overnight. And what's really kind of sucks, but it happens. Like I saw my stuff, like one of my friends actually was like, "Is this your channel?" Like one of my videos was on TikTok for a bit. Someone just like clipped a bit of my video on a TikTok or something, and I got comments the next day. I'll do this, do this, do this, do this, and I was thinking, oh crap, yeah, people really dig this. I enjoy making them. They're really fun to make. So then obviously it made sense to carry on, and there is the White House heist in Payday 2. I thought, hell yeah, let's get on that and do a video on that. So from then on in, it was just sort of like this, just a trajectory. Like people were really liking the content, I guess, and I was really enjoying making it at the time, and that's how I bumped into Mr. Noli Man here as well. Because one day I received a comment from him. It was just something like, "Oh, I love these" or something like that. And honestly, I was sort of like, I was sat there and I was like, "Wait, who?" The name looks familiar. And then I was asked the guy that did the story video. Oh yeah, cool. So I reached out to him and I emailed him or something like that. I remember I emailed you and I was like, "Hey, I've got this really funny idea for an intro. Do you mind, if I use some of your like video and all that kind of stuff?" It's like the whole skit was like Joe Biden's learning how to play Payday, so he's watching the Noli do a challenge run or whatever. I just thought it'd be funny to put in, and that was like the intro of it. And of course, Noli was like, "Absolutely, go for it." And I was like, "Oh, cool."
And I basically always do that, by the way. I'll always say, "Yeah, do it. Sounds good." but obviously, it helped that I'd already found your stuff. I put out a tweet when that was all going on. The presidents were popping off, and I was like, "Why have I not seen Sleepy Joe in the White House?" And someone was like, "Hey, you've not done your research, man."
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, I was just about to bring it up because also I was going to say, like, also, people obviously were mentioning you, like, "Oh, did you know the Noli's in your videos, stuff like that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, fair play." And then that's why I reached out and I was like, "I got a funny idea. Do you want to, be a part of this?" And you were just like, "Yeah, man." So it was awesome to have you on board with it. And then it just kept going. And then obviously with Payday 3 being announced that year as well, last year, obviously I think just with the momentum of that and just with the President's Play trend, meme, whatever it was, just like this for the channel. And for years I was stuck on just low numbers, low subscribers, and just slowly just working behind the scenes. Then this sort of President's Play series was almost like a big break, that big break for me almost. So it just went like this. The channel overnight was like this, and I was like, "Crap, this is really," it's like I went from 2,000 subscribers to like 4,000 in a day or something. I got like 2,000 subscribers in like a day. Like it was mental. And checking my phone every 2 minutes to be like, "Oh, do this," and I'll, getting comments every 2 seconds. But so with Payday 3 coming out, obviously the hype building up, I got to the presidents doing like the Hotline at Miami heist, and I don't know, something kind of like switched in me. I was sort of like, it's getting a bit stale. Like the videos are getting stale. I was not running out of ideas, but I was sort of like, I didn't really want to be the one-trick pony, if that makes sense. I didn't want to be the guy who just makes the AI content, who makes the President's Play meme content, that kind of stuff. I want to do some new stuff, like switch it up a little bit, and so I did. I brought my voice into it, and the first massive video that took off, I remember, was it's the most popular video on my channel now, which is the most annoying achievements in Payday 2, which I just thought, let's have a crack at this, just to show people like, hey, I can make other forms of content rather than just the AI stuff, right? So I remember I posted that video and I posted it, went to bed, and it was like 1,000 views before I went to bed. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Woke up the next morning, 10,000 views. I was like, oh, okay, people really enjoy this. I remember I went to work. I don't check my phone at work because I'm working. I got home from work and it was on like 20,000 views, 25,000, and it just soared. I don't know what I did, but it just soared. And I think now it's sitting on like 200,000 views or something like that, like crazy numbers.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, honestly, this is sort of like, it's what I needed though. It was that reassurance of like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing here. I'm glad that I'm like branching out and trying new ideas and new things. Which you kind of have to do that as a creator or just an artist or a creator in general. Like if you're struggling or having a block, you just got to switch things up. But
achievements are huge to like the Payday community, so it's
they are,
especially when there's over 1,000 of them.
That's what I mean. There's going to be annoying ones out of the bunch and fun ones, which I did like another video on it, and I did the most fun achievements. I love that Hostile Takeover achievement with the golf cart one. I absolutely love that achievement. Every time I play Hostile Takeover, I just immediately get into a cart and just do it all over again. It's just so fun. But then yeah, so then after that, the Payday 3 beta drops, right? And I'm like, I gotta get on this. So I reach out to the homie Liz, and she just like, boom, here's a key, get on it. And I was like, oh, love that. and then I'm playing with obviously the Noli, I'm playing with Red Archer, Mario, and we're just having a great time. And I think stuff like that as well, like Noli featuring me in his video, which was us for tackling Overkill and the beta. That was another sort of big step, I guess, for me as well. Just obviously, yeah, recognition, that kind of thing. And then the launch happened. We all know what happened at the launch. Which it was really funny. I popped into Beecroft's stream, and it was pretty much like we had this conversation about like everyone's streams became sort of like a matchmaking waiting room almost for a lot of streamers. Which yeah, it wasn't fun that period at all. But then yeah, but before Payday 3 came out, talking about the vocal stuff, I don't know. I sort of got the idea for the vocal remakes from, there's a YouTuber called Spectre. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He basically does these vocal remakes of like popular rap albums, basically. He does all a cappella. Check out Spectre. He's awesome. I thought, once again, it's like, I can do producing. I make music and stuff sometimes. So I gave, was it Notice to the Wicked a go? So I did the whole track, and just people just fucking loved it. I was like, you know what? I might make this into like a project for Payday 3. So I just got to work on it. And then it even caught the eye of the Lord and Savior Gustavo himself. Like, he seems to really enjoy them. So, I mean, hell, like, it's more of a love letter to him, really, because obviously, you know, you got the GOAT Simon and the Carl Nora and La Castlevania's music in there, you know, legends. And then obviously when Gustavo came, I'll be honest, when Gustavo took over with the music, I'm very like critical when it comes to music, really. So I was like, oh, it's not Simon Viklund. But then I don't know, he earned my heart with Backlash Inc., which is the Hostile Takeover track. So that was when I was like, yeah, I like this guy. This guy's cool. And then he did On the Road, and that was really cool. Then yeah, I then did the whole Payday 3 soundtrack. That took 3 months of my life, pretty much, just in the studio grinding, asking different people, hey, do you want to be on this or whatnot? And yeah, it just sort of all came into place. I still look back sometimes, I'm like, how the hell did I do that? But I don't know. That's pretty much it. And then now it's just sort of like, I guess we're going to talk about in a bit, right? Where when it comes to Payday 3 situation, where at the moment it's just a waiting game, like what's next? Pretty much. Yeah, that's basically it. That's my journey, pretty much, in a nutshell, as short as I can put it.
I think we all agree that the work you did with the a cappella music stuff was well worth it, at least for me. I
absolutely.
Oh, thanks, man. No, it's honestly so cool to like, in a way, know that, like, because for me, when it comes to doing stuff like that, I want to make stuff that I find's fun. That's why I stopped doing the AI stuff, because it wasn't really that fun anymore. I still get questions every day, like, why aren't you doing the President's Play stuff? I'm like, I just don't think, I got bored of it. There might be a time where I find the acapella stuff boring, and I'm like, I want to do something new. That's just kind of in my nature. But for the most part, I don't know, just when it comes to like this acapella stuff, there's just something every time I open up FL Studio and just get started on one, like the amount of like blooper reels and stuff. I don't know if I'll ever do a blooper, but the amount of like mess ups I do and the redos or the retakes that I try with certain tracks, I don't know. There's just something really cool about it. It's almost in that category where it's like it's bad, but it's also good. Like in terms of how it sounds and the style of it. Because honestly, they're so goofy, but they are. I guess they're just fun. I mean, people really seem to like it. And yesterday, I've dropped and sort of announced that I'm going to be doing the Payday 2 soundtrack. I'm doing Volume 1. That's in the works. I mean, I'm about 70% done now, but Payday 2's soundtrack is in the works, vocal remakes. And I can't wait for people to hear them, and if you mod them into the game and that kind of stuff. That's what I'm really looking forward to, like modders getting their hands on it, because the modding community are crazy when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to just dropping it, seeing what people think of it, and if I make one person happy, I've done my job. Simple as that. Yeah,
I always pay really close attention to the Payday community, especially the creator community, and I think what you offer is so completely unique. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a huge driver of what's made you so successful over the last sort of 12 months or so, is that almost everything you've been doing, only you've been doing, which is hard to do with a 10-year-old game. And then obviously we had Payday 3. So yeah, that's what I think is so good about it.
That's what, yeah, and I mean, it's crazy how the community responds to like just fun content in general. Like, going forward, even through Payday 3's and the continued of Payday 2's life cycle anyway, no matter what I do in the future, like I said, I just want to make sure that it's fun to listen to or fun to watch. I just want to make goofy stuff. I don't really care about too much about views and all that kind of. I don't really look at algorithms and views and like people just is this the perfect thumbnail, is the title perfect? I just, as long as it's fun and people enjoy it, if someone gets a kick out of it, people will jump on board. And I think that's what I've definitely learned the most throughout doing from the past year or so, since everything's really ramped up for me, is that as long as what you do is what you enjoy the most, people are going to see that and go, oh crap, this, I like this guy's energy, I want to jump on board. And I just, the community have been just so welcoming as well to that kind of content, because I think in a time like this, I think we do need a bit of like light in the darkness. I hope that with these vocal remakes, they can kind of be that shining like light for people, because at the moment things are not so good. By trying the positive stuff and things,
Yeah, that's huge. I sometimes wonder if I've tripped too far down like the critical commentary line, when I just want to talk about the story, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's valid though, right? It's like you're it's not like you're not allowed to critique it, right? It's just frustrating more than anything, because I think everyone here was just so excited for like 10 years of Payday 2, and it's finally here, and then the launch happens and you have this massive build-up of anticipation just completely deflate, and like the hype train just ramming off the tracks like that. Honestly, it's just, I don't think I've seen or experienced a bigger drop-off in players pretty much since No Man's Sky. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was
a
hype
train.
One.
Yeah, and it's insane, honestly. But once again, just, it's out of our control. We got to kind of, these are the hands we've been given. These are the cards we've been dealt. We just got to make the most of it, really. And that's what I'm trying to do in the community anyway. I'm trying to listen to feedback. I'm trying to, just interact with people more who enjoy Payday, really. And I just can't wait for people to listen to these vocal remakes, because I really enjoy making them, and I think people are going to really enjoy listening to them in the future. I mean, yeah, once again, I just love making them. That's all.
Maybe that's the perfect bridge to start talking about the potential light at the end of the tunnel that you mentioned, with the old medic bag operation.
The doctor bag operation, indeed.
I don't know how everyone's feeling about it currently, or what all the stances are. I'm a terrible fence sitter, so I'm sort of like, well.
I saw a comment on your video actually, which was like, at this point they need a Messiah medic bag charge at this point, and it's just so true. Like, I think I'm pretty much in the camp of like, look, just enough talk. Just we need action now. Like it's getting to the point. It's getting a bit silly now, where it's just talk, all talk and nothing to back it up. I think that at this moment in time, it's just everyone is just waiting for, but it's like we're waiting, but at the same time, people are getting very impatient. It's like, okay, like you're kind of taking the mick here. Like we need something, and with the Operation Medic Bag stuff being announced and them having a plan of what they're going to be implementing, it's good, but at the same time, it's like, look, just
get it done.
Get it done. Get to work. Give it to us now, because we've been waiting for so long for updates. And it's like it's the last time we had an update was syntax error, which was how many months ago now? Because the days all blend into one. It's just like, I'm driving. It's making me go mental at this point. But no, I'm keeping a level head about things. You know, I just say, let them cook. Come back when they've delivered on their promises when it comes, especially when it comes to the offline mode, solo mode. I have personal grudges with how they've worded the offline mode. I mean, I've had discussions with my community about it, but I guess that's something we can talk about. They finally gotten it off the table, whack that in the oven. They're cranking it up. I hope they are, but
it's an awfully load-bearing table.
I honestly thought they would just not completely reject it, but I honestly thought they would just stick to their guns, you know, when it came to the whole online-only live service stuff. But that already is just as soon as that gets implemented, that's a massive step in the right direction for me personally. And there are stuff that they briefly mentioned, like the lovely microtransaction store, which, oh god, I'm really no. If I speak,
I will be in big trouble.
I'll be in big trouble. Exactly.
I am under the understanding that was mentioned as like don't worry about this for now, because obviously lots of people were predicting it might come with the update. You know,
I know.
The big fix. Now you can buy Dallas Bucks in the store.
Dallas Bucks. Oh man, get your hands on some hocks and honkers, people. Oh mate, honestly, no. I mentioned this in my video, but I'll repeat it here. Where it's like, I generally am at that point now, personally, where it's like, if they go about and fix the game, they give us a sequel the fans deserve, and they fix the game. If they do all this hard work, they put in the crunch, they put in all the hours to then have that community trust back in their laps again, have the community there again, like, yeah, Payday is back, to then suddenly buy some Dallas coins, guys, microtransactions. I just think the trust is completely gonna just go completely. I think people are gonna go, right, what is this then? You've fixed the game, and then on the flip side, it's like, microtransactions, guys, get on it, spend more money. It's like, what? That just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm very much now in the camp of like, don't you dare add microtransactions into Payday 3. Like, I'm very stern about that, because I think it's going to end very badly if they try to add them in 2025, or if it gets to 2025 and they go, we're going to just like 2026, maybe?
Just keep pushing it back, yeah.
Just keep pushing it back. But yeah, I know, that's my take on it.
Yeah, it's a tricky balancing act, isn't it, between keeping the players happy and also keeping any investors and shareholders under the understanding that, like, this can be a profitable business, and that's seen as an area that could be profitable in the future. The thing that I've noticed a lot in the game industry recently is that the good guys have been doing really well. Being super community focused, seeing the sort of things that Helldivers 2 has just done.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's so focused around making the less commercially profitable decision in the short term, but like that community goodwill is worth so much more. It's not just Helldivers. I think Baldur's Gate was a similar situation where just like picking the good dialogue option has done really well for these companies.
Honestly,
it sounds easy, but I know it's a tougher balancing act, especially at a publicly traded company.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing the, no pun intended, but seeing the little guys win in the industry, like it does put a smile on my face generally. Like look at Lethal. I haven't played it yet, but like Lethal Company.
You haven't played it yet?
It's a good one, dude.
One person made that game. And from the videos and clips that I've seen, it looks hilarious. I mean, I just haven't gotten around to it. I've been busy with beatboxing into the mic. You know, that's,
Oh my
I've been singing guitar riffs and stuff. You know, like that's what I do. But
We're gonna get you
no,
on
but
that.
no, but honestly, but seeing like what you said, like seeing these smaller studios like Baldur's Gate 3, I tried it, not my cup of tea, honestly, but I'm happy that it won Game of the Year. I'm very happy it won Game of the Year because it's like I was so scared it was gonna go to like Spider-Man or this like the other generic games. So I'm so happy that a game like Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year because it just shows like the amount of, you know, even from playing it for the brief period I did, just the amount of love and passion that went into that game. It's just astounding. And I get why people, you know, were so invested in Baldur's Gate. And the same with Helldivers. Haven't got into it yet, but I probably will. I've seen like loads of server issues with Helldivers.
You've literally not gotten
well.
into it, or you...
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. But I even saw like a tweet or something from like the CEO of the company being like, can you guys just hold off on buying it because we need more server space? Like that's just hilarious to me. But at the same time, it shows that as long as you're treating your players with respect and you're respecting their wishes and their wallets, I think that people are going to hop on board with that, right? It's if you price things fairly. That's why I think a lot of people had beef with the Syntax era as well, with that heist, especially for non-gold edition, silver edition owners, just because when you go from the expectation of the pricing of the packs in Payday 2, for example, to the pricings in Syntax era, like Christ, man.
Paying more for less.
It's ridiculous. It's just so unplayer friendly. And then when you have the whole MTX stuff lurking in the background, that because the players know that it's coming, right? Because they've said it's coming, but just when, right? It's a matter of when at this point. And it's just this dark cloud that's looming. Because, like I mentioned before, no matter how much effort they put back into the game now, there's always going to be that cloud of like, but when are they going to flip the switch and do the microtransaction stuff? You know, it's just going to go from making the players happy to, okay, now we're pissed again. I mean, Crime Fest 2015 was a great example. If you guys know about Crime Fest 2015 with the whole safe debacle. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a fun time. And that, I think that's what I appreciate from the Payday community the most. And that's why I got drawn into the community a lot, really, because I think there's a lot of communities out there that just sort of let not the developers, but like let these companies get away with stuff like that. They kind of get taken advantage on, you know, like these big buck like corporations and stuff. But I think with the Payday community, we're so like real and honest with everything. I fucking love that with the community. Like if, you know, with Starbreeze and Overkill, if they mess up, we'll let them know that they've messed up big time, and we will be on their back until they do something. Like with what happened at Crime Fest, it's like, you do know that you said there wouldn't be any microtransactions in Payday 2, and shame on you for thinking otherwise. I still remember the quote. And then they flipped the switch, and everyone was obviously understandably like, oh, hang on a minute. Fuck's this? What's going on here? The CS:GO looking crap with the I hated it so much. But yeah, I think it's a perfect example of just how tight the community actually is in Payday, that we do not take any crap really. And I mean, you're seeing it here with Payday 3. People have already jumped ship. Well, not jumped ship, but they're just sort of like in the lifeboats at the moment. Like, is it safe to come back up yet? But that's the way
I'd also argue at this point that like there's just not enough content in the game, even if you love it.
No, there's
Yeah.
no.
It's just kind of empty.
Yeah, I've said this a lot. Like Payday the Heist, it never really had like that much content at the end, but still, it's something that you could, at least for me, I could sit down and run just nonstop. But I don't know, maybe if it's like for me, I have stupid long loading times, but that kind of takes me out of the game. It does, and like you said, Noli, the game kind of feels a bit empty. Like there's a bit of substance there, but it's still missing something. It's just not as, I don't know. Like it wants to be as cinematic, but it's missing something. Maybe the character interaction. I don't know.
I think at the beginning of the game, I had my rose-tinted glasses on. Look at these graphics. Oh, we can slide on the floor. We can shoot and slide on the floor. We can shout piece of shit drill over and over again. Oh, it's amazing. And then I don't know. The more that you play it, it's just like you start. The honeymoon phase wears off, right? And you start seeing the cracks, and you start going, "Hang on a minute, something's afoot here." Like
getting drugged back to the menu and then seeing the new
oh my god
option, the UI. Oh goddamn that UI! The challenges. You can't just play.
Yeah.
You have to play how they tell you to play.
Honestly, I'm so glad they're doing with the challenge-based system. I really am so happy because, like, in concept, like before launch, I thought, okay, it's actually a neat concept if they can pull it off. But I just think it's just in concept it was good, but in execution, it just oh my days, man. Honestly, shout out to people like Commander, for example, who he grinded all the way up to 150 just doing the challenges. I'm like, how the hell does one person have the willpower to do that? Like, it's insane to me. But because for me, I pretty much got to like, what was it, 120? I clocked out. I got to 120 or something. I was like, no, I'm good. I'd rather not do Dirty Eyes 200 times. That's all right. We're good. But yeah, no. And I guess the question as well would be going forward. They mentioned about one free heist they want to deliver this year as well in the Operation Medic Bag. Thoughts? I mean, do you think it's another remake? Do we think that it's going to be a fresh heist or what? Because is one heist, free heist, going to be really enough to keep players satisfied? Just because, like Noli said, the amount of content already is sorely lacking for a game that's what £35, or I guess it's $40 for you lot in the US. And then going back to games like Helldivers 2 and Lethal Company. Lethal Company is like closer to like the $10 sort of region, I think. But to the amount of content in that game compared to Payday 3, it's astounding. It's insane. But yeah, once again, when you take off the rose-tinted glasses, you really start seeing the cracks and the problems. Like, you talk about the load times as well, Vice. Like, Payday 2, launch at Payday 2, get into a game, bang, I'm in like 30 seconds, cool. Payday 3, I'm sitting there and I'm just sat waiting for a server to put me in for a solo game. And by the time I get into a lobby, I'm generally like, I'm not in the mood to play anymore. I've been waiting for 5 minutes, bro. Like, you kidding me? I don't want to wait anymore.
Yeah, I do think, I don't know if anyone else had the chance to read through the Reddit Q&A. The implication there was that one heist was said to not over-promise and under-deliver. So I think the hope would be more. But,
also, going off of that, I believe it was insinuated that it's not going to be a remake, this free heist. But it's insinuated to be a new map. This is coming from Capcake in chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I've just been so knee-deep in everything my side. I just haven't had a chance to look at the AMA. I've seen a few bits and bobs, but yeah.
I don't understand Reddit enough to read it. Like, how do I?
Same here.
I stay away from Reddit. Honestly, I stay away from it. Yeah. Once again, I think I'm just in that mood now where I'm like, don't care. Please, just do something. It's like that meme of the guy poking the little rock or whatnot. Just do something, man. Just do something.
Go do a crime.
Like that's.
I was all for more communication from them, and now I'm like, shut up, work. I don't want to hear you talk.
Isn't that funny though? Because at the start, when shit was hitting the fan big time, it was like, guys, we need communication.
Mm-hmm.
We need communication. You're not saying anything. We got a legacy heist, guys. No, but what's happening in the future? Hi guys, syntax error. No. What is happening in the future? We need these features implemented. And then, Christmas break, guys. Okay, cool. Have your Christmas. January comes around. Okay, guys, what's happening? Like, have you got a plan together? Things are happening. No, but and then obviously we're at that point now where they are I think like reality's finally hit them, and it's like, shit, this is bad. This is bad. Shit's gotta change quick. And I mean, fuck, I hate self-plugging and stuff, but I did a rant directed at Starbreeze, literally saying, like, if you don't put an offline mode into Payday 3 now, or some kind of solo mode, you're gonna lose your players. You're gonna lose them. And I mean, look what's happened. Like, it can't be this sit down and have discussions about it. It's like, no, you're gonna lose your play. Like, if history has taught you when it comes to what the community want, like, the Payday community aren't dumb. We know what we want in our game. So when these very simple features are missing from the games that we love, like in Payday 3, for example, it just hurts more than anything. It really does. And whenever you see like frustration on Twitter, frustration on the Reddit, frustration on all the socials, it's from a place of love. Where like people, I mean, yeah, you got the assholes that just badmouth and, you know, say heinous stuff to the devs.
Shit game.
Yeah, dead game and all that. But no, there's genuinely people like us and like people in the chat and people in the community that just want the game to do good. That's why we're sat here frustrated. That's why we're sat here like, come on, do something. Like, it's just, yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm just like, no, I don't care. Just drop medic bag update whenever. Cool. I'm like Shaq. As soon I'm asleep now, but as soon as it drops, real shit. Like, if it drops, I'm on it. But for now, I'm going with the flow. I'm just sitting back, just waiting for something to happen.
True, and for me, like, you know, a lot of us, we've been around the community for literally a decade, and you know, obviously, this is something we all love. But for me in particular, it kind of brings back flashbacks of like Overkill's The Walking Dead, and just a lot of us, I just don't want to see it happen again. We, you know, especially to Payday, we don't want to see this franchise in particular all of a sudden just gone. Just fuck.
Yeah, man. I mean,
they can't fall back on Payday 2.
Oh no.
No.
So
really
good
can't.
luck.
Because The Walking Dead had some pretty serious extenuating circumstances. Like, that game was not made under any sort of level of control and direction that Payday 3 should have been made under, as far as we know. And I mean, I still stand by the fact that I really enjoy Payday 3's core gameplay loop. I think there's loads of improvements been made there from Payday 3 to Payday 2. That just doesn't carry the game very far. I think it's funny because a game like Helldivers, it seems like as long as the core gameplay is fantastic, which it is, the game kind of carries itself. Whereas Payday as a franchise, this has always been the case. The gameplay needs a vehicle, which is the heists, right? So if the heists don't hit, and you get bored of them, which is exactly what's happened, despite the fact that I initially thought the heists were good, they just didn't have the same staying power, and the game doesn't have the same inherent replayability just from its gameplay. There needs to be something built around that. So yeah, my number one concern is that if we were to only get 4 more heists over the course of the next, say 10 months,
nowhere near enough.
It's not even close, because that's what's necessary to play and enjoy the game for most people. So the approach has to be a lot more aggressive when it comes to content, unless the plan is just to, you know, fix it, and then in 2025 we can have a great year. But who's to say, you know, the finances in the meantime would be able to sustain that kind of thing. So yeah, I think the content part is the part that scares me the most, but I also think it's the area that they're not as willing to promise as much for, because they don't want to end up being unable to fulfill those commitments. They're just, I think the ambition is greater than what we've seen on paper, personally.
Do you think it's because of the new like narrative and the story and all that? They have to be like super careful with what they're putting out and crafting for future things?
That would be a first, wouldn't it? No, I don't. I think at the end of the day, that would fall by the wayside if it was to create more. I mean, like, look at the 2 classic heists. They were really just a vehicle to add back a fan favorite character, and they were trying to find a way to do it. The actual lore implications are very secondary. So at the end of the day, they'll find a way to shoehorn new exciting stuff in if they can. I simply don't think they have the resources to do all of that over this sort of 10-month period to the extent we'd like them to. I still think that there will be more than 4 new heists. I hope.
We can all hope.
I
We might
also
just
don't
stay
want to
hoping,
overpromise.
though.
Fingers crossed at this point, honestly. But yeah, no, going back to terms of like the replayability, because you mentioned with just replayability in general sorely lacking. The one feature they added into Payday 2, which honestly, like lessons learned going into Payday 3, it's laughable sometimes. Where it's like these few things that you learned in Payday 2, like come on, anyway, the one feature that made even like bank heist, for example, replayable, pre-planning, the ability.
Thank you.
The ability just to go. Even the simple thing of like, instead of putting an ammo bag there, I'm gonna put a medic bag there. That immediately is just, even though it's something so small, it adds that replayability. I know you don't like the heist, Noli, but Shadow Raid, I adore it. Okay, because that's like my go-to stealth heist, because it is just, in my opinion, a sandbox for stealth. It's like, right, here's a heist, steal shit. You can only stealth the heist. It's like, right, how are you going to do it? Here's the pre-planning. Go. And it's almost like an artist painting its own canvas, right? I mean, I'm not just talking about drawing dicks in the pre-planning, but I'm generally talking about like,
actually going through like the blueprint and teaching people
Yes.
what to do. That's one thing I absolutely loved about pre-planning. So you can actually go over the heist and what you're going to do beforehand, and
it's just
now
that
you're
extra,
just thrown to the wolves.
and it's that extra charm of that, once again, what they mentioned in Operation Medic Bag, of the whole, the heisting fantasy, right? At the same time, like, you read that and you think, thank God they're bringing CrimeNet back, right? And a CrimeNet style browser. I mean, I've been playing Warhammer Darktide recently as well, which that had a shaky launch, but nowhere near as bad as Payday 3. It just didn't have the content, but it had a lot of replayability though, and it still does. But even in Darktide, for example, just a simple map form where, so in Darktide you'd have different sectors, different levels, but they all have modifiers to them, right? What does Payday 2 have? CrimeNet, and in this terms of modifiers, it's difficulty, right? But there were modifiers in Payday 2, but they just sort of put them in, as a form of like, hey, you can mess around with modifiers, whatever. I kind of wish that it was tied to some achievements and stuff like that. That would have been really cool. Of like spawning an unlimited cloakers and see how you do. That would have been kind of cool. Complete a heist with unlimited cloakers or whatnot. Just some fun stuff. But no, I think that's just a little example from what I've played recently anyway, when it comes to replayability in a game. Something so small as, being able to place like picking different escape options as well, instead of having a list of like A, B, C, or D options. Like, oh, I can select a different escape. Okay, I don't know where the escape's gonna be. It's just gonna be on the map. Cool. Like, oh, in No Rest of the Wicked, oh, there's a dustbin that you can throw loot into. Okay, where's the dustbin? We'll play the heist and find out, stupid. I mean, whereas if that was Payday 2, it'd be like, right, you want another loot drop off? Bang. This is the location, right? This is the map layout. Bang. That dustbin, there's more loot. You can put loot in that dustbin.
Yeah, or you can pick where.
Yeah.
It's only a couple of your favors, and so you can do loads more. Yeah.
Exactly. But no, I just think something like that. But even though something's so small, it just adds so much more to the replayability, just the immersion of it all. Just sometimes I just log into Payday 2 just to go onto CrimeNet and just see the graphic of heist popping up. Just so immersive, and it's just like, you look at it and you go, just, that is a way more interesting way of being able to go, right, who's playing what, then clicking on a menu and scrolling past cutscenes. I want to play Touch the Sky, but it's all the way at the end. Let me play Touch the Sky, for God's sake. It's just such a more interesting way of picking a heist, though. Like, once it adds to that fantasy, and just once again, when you take off the rose tinted glasses, just that fantasy is just not there. It just feels so generic. From they mentioned a UI and a HUD revamp. Like, thank God, it's just so bland. It's generic, and it's just, once again, I'm getting so angry about it because it's just like, once again, these are lessons that you've learned in Payday 2 over the 10 years of developing Payday 2 that it does become laughable when you start picking apart the game itself and you start becoming overly critical. But it's not really like you being overly critical. You're being critical of a game that you love, of course. You want the game to be better. But it's a valid point when it comes to like 10 years of developing Payday 2. And these were the lessons you learned: a scrolling menu rather than a really cool way of picking a heist. Like, put the map of New York there and just let us pick the heist from the location. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to play 99 boxes. I'll look, bang, it's at the docks. Boom, click on that heist. Host the game there.
I can get into the like heisting fantasy bit a little bit with you because this was something I actually spoke to Andreas about, and what they internally perceived as the heisting fantasy, I agree is good. It just hasn't quite worked as was planned. That is the different phases that we see in stealth and things. That's things like negotiation, the ability to trade and handle hostages. That's what was seen as the heisting fantasy, like pulling off your own heist in this slightly more immersive way. The problem is, I think, the parts of Payday 3 that are really good are just those pure gameplay moments. You know, the game still has like, you know, pretty good gunplay, the music's good, so just in the moment you have a good time. Which doesn't, and so the people who enjoy that kind of thing play the game for that. Great. Those then tend to be the kind of players who don't care at all about the heisting fantasy and will try and skip through and abuse whatever these new mechanics are in the least sort of fantasy roleplay way possible. So that part of the game's ended up being pretty much forgotten. The kind of players who would really appreciate that don't find that there's enough replayability in the game or enough to spend their time on the game to really enjoy it. So I think the community that would enjoy the heisting fantasy has ended up being alienated away from it. It doesn't work because it doesn't transfer outside the heist, like you mentioned. It's these very isolated moments in the heist around certain mechanics that you can completely miss if you don't pay attention to them. So lots of people probably will have touched the game and then, you know, tried it on Xbox Game Pass, not quite got these ideas and thought, what the hell was this? And that's because there is that like disconnect from a design perspective. And in some ways, Payday 3's overcomplicated it and not focused on those pure systems that worked so well in Payday 2. I think too many lessons were forgotten from what Payday 2 did right. And I didn't want Payday 3 to just be another Payday 2. Lord, I have enough hours in Payday 2. I wanted a new game.
Amen.
Absolutely.
But not like this.
Not like this. But no,
It's gone too far, right?
Mate, no, it's not just
swinging too far.
It's not just you, because it's like, going on the back of that, I think that from my perspective of a heisting fantasy, I think that half of that heisting fantasy is even before you've loaded into the game. That's with creating your builds, creating your perfect weapon, you know, like you buy new weapons, making your perfect mask, you know, and teaming up with your friend or picking the heist in a certain way, picking a difficulty, you know, playing with certain friends. Oh, is no one ready yet? Okay, I'll unready. Yeah. Like no, but like, but it's little things like that. Okay, who's bringing what, the assets and all that. Like, just the little communication feature, just like a chat or even voice chat. It's like voice chat in a co-op game.
VoIP and unreading has been around since the first day of Payday the Heist. I don't know why they took such a drastic step back.
It's like the one thing you'd expect to be in a co-op game would be a voice chat. Like, even for like console players, for example, who maybe don't have access to a text chat. But even in the beta, for example, on Nurse of the Wicked, if a PC player was to, you know, when you hack the computer and you get the color for the door to unlock,
yes,
it tags in the chat saying it's a white cable you got to cut. So a console player can look at that and go, "Oh, the cable's white, cool." But in the full game, that's not a feature. So console players, obviously, they're just running around thinking like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, what are my teammates doing? I'm so lost here. And it's just like, the one thing that could have stopped all that is for someone to just be like, "Hey, anyone got a mic? Yeah, sure, man. What's up? Yeah, I'm picking this loadout. Yeah, cool. I'll bring an ammo back for it. Just so you can communicate with your team a bit better. And then, well, it doesn't really matter anyway, because as soon as you complete the heist, it's like, okay, bye. I'm never going to see you again because I'm not going to merge parties with you after. So bye. You know, unless you get their name really quickly in game, like there's no way of merging parties after, which is once again in Payday 2 was such a. I met so many cool people playing Payday 2 just in public games, you know, and being like, oh, you know what, we're actually quite a solid team. Do you want to do some like we've just been playing Mayhem? Do you want to play some Death Wish? Yeah, sure. Do you want to play some Death Centers? Yeah, sure. Like, yeah, something so basic and just it's not there. Like I mentioned, I dig the unready button, for example. It's like it's just something so small, but it ends up being something so big in the long run. You know.
Well, because it's such a nuisance to not have. Like, if you make one mistake to unready, you have to just fucking leave.
Oh, what's that? I have to switch my build. I accidentally put on my loud build when we're going loud.
It's like, whoops. Oh, great. Let me go through the 10 steps it takes to make one change when it's as easy as clicking ready again. Because we know it's possible. We have the technology. It's been done.
But since the dawn of time, like Vise has said.
Payday's like, no, actually, you don't get to make changes. Sorry. We stick to
this isn't Payday 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised we even come back from custody if we, make a mistake. Why don't we just die and then the game never opens again? Oops, sorry. If we're learning from our mistakes, that only makes sense.
And another big caveat to that, like say, trying to add somebody on Payday 3, that's if Nebula's working properly.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's still fucked up. At least for me. I don't know if y'all have run into any bugs since.
No, but I will say the one person I really feel bad for is Troy.
Is he still having problems?
I feel really bad for him because I don't know if he can see his friends. But for me, I can see my friends, but it's just so jumbled and messed up that
and there's no order to it.
There comes days when I log in, I'm like, oh, I got no friends, and then I log in the next day and I have like a duplicate of the same person going down my Nebula list. I'm like, the hell is this?
Sorry, I made 10 alts overnight. Sorry.
I genuinely wonder how negatively Nebula has impacted Payday 3 overall player numbers. How many players have downloaded the game on Xbox and been like, "What the hell is this? I want to create another account." I used to hate. I wouldn't play anything that was on Uplay.
Oh my god!
Because,
I still.
I still making an account.
I still don't.
I remember making a GOG account, I think, to play The Witcher, and I was like, "Wow, I'm really taking steps here." Now, if I wasn't a Payday YouTuber, would I create a Nebula? I'm lazy. I might just not. So regardless of its functionality.
Well, it's not lazy. It's not laziness. It's also a case of not something else to sign up for. You know what I mean? It's just such a burden on the players, and it's like another thing I wanted to touch on was the offline mode, solo mode, that implementation. I think we need to get into that really because it's like the way it's worded, and when you factor in Nebula as well, there's a small bit of text in the brief that we saw, which was you have to momentarily connect to the servers to upload your data after playing offline. It's like, yeah, that's not really an offline mode. You still need a connection to play. Honestly, hell, I mean, I can play Payday 2 on the Switch. Yes, I have the Switch version. I have the Switch version.
You're not making a video on that, are you?
Maybe.
But I just bought the PS4 version.
Yes.
But PS3 version.
Honestly, people love to meme on the Switch, but Payday 2, it's a perfect example of that's a perfect Switch game. It's like, oh, I've got it at home. I can sit on the couch and play with some friends online. Yeah, sure. Oh, I'm hopping on a flight somewhere. Oh, I can just take it on the flight with me and play offline. Cool. There's no worry of oh no, I'm going to lose my progress if I play offline for a bit. And if I don't, I need to find a cafe quick and upload my data to Nebula. Otherwise my progress won't save. Oh no, there's that. I don't know how they're going to sort that out. I just think that's even more of a stress and a burden on the players. It's not a true offline mode where in Payday 2, it's all local, right? I can make a new account and play the entire thing get to Infamy 100 offline if I wanted to, right? If I put the hours in, am I going to do that? Absolutely not. But there might be someone who's done that. I don't know. But
Who would ever do that? Who would
but
ever
at the same
reset and start over?
I think that when it comes to this Operation Medic Bag, I think anything to lessen the burden of players and increase, or would it be increase or decrease the entry level in terms of joining? I think just that ease of play is something that is just sorely needed from things like an unready button, something so small, but it ends up big in the long run. I mean, yeah, with the solo mode, I get it. I get the solo mode where it's like, okay, you can play it offline, just skip the whole matchmaking thing, jump into your own local thing. I have no beef with that, but the offline mode, how it's worded, which is like you need to briefly connect to the servers, like, no, that's not an offline mode. It connects your account needs to be like it is in Payday 2, where you can progress locally and you can progress online and you can intertwine between the two. And like what we just mentioned, Nebula plays a huge part in your progression, obviously, because all your data and your progression is stored on Nebula. So that's just immediately a huge, it's just a nuisance at this point. Like we just discussed, when it comes to adding someone on Nebula is a burden. It's like the one basic feature of Nebula is to add Payday friends and all
connect people
in a co-op game. Oh my, who would have thought?
God, imagine.
Crazy idea, I know, but it's just, once again, there's just barrier after barrier after barrier after barrier of interactivity and socializing in a co-op game. I just haven't seen it.
There's the other barrier of the DLC price also being even higher. It's like you can't, if you're a new player, good luck. Oh my god. You were talking about, like, if I wasn't a Payday creator, like, what would I put up with? And it's like, I wouldn't put up with any of this shit. Like, Epic Games, I almost uninstall it every time I open it. Like, that is so annoying. Every Nebula problem I've had, I think I probably wouldn't play Payday if I wasn't.
Yeah, but Fortnite, man, they got the Lady Gaga events coming out, man. They got Lady Gaga in Fortnite soon,
I have one game on Epic Games that I care about, and I haven't even played it yet, for the record.
Is it Crime Boss?
No.
I was literally like bracing for those words.
No, I bought Alan Wake too, but I'm saying every day I open the Epic Games launcher to claim my silly little free game, and I almost uninstall it every time because I do not care about it enough to keep it. I'm like, I haven't spent money really on this. I did buy Crime Boss. I don't want to talk about it. You think Payday has a long load time? I waited for 7 minutes to launch the game.
Weekend on that, yeah.
I waited 7 minutes to launch the game for Crime Boss on my SSD, by the way. Okay, everyone was like, "Is it on your hard drive?" I'm like, no, I know how to install a game. Thank you, but I think that they're really not taking care of like the new players, and they're slowly pushing away the old players.
Yeah,
because they want more, so they're changing things, but they're changing them to not welcome the new players. I think they're in a vicious cycle. They just can't win right now.
So why is I really don't know, but is online only like such a big deal because of the crossplay? I never actually.
There's lots of reasons.
That
they don't want to budge on it. One is obviously cheating.
That's understandable.
Cheating, it is to an extent, but I think Payday 2 had a much better approach, which is like, don't cheat, but like, if you do, there's nothing we can do to stop you.
Yeah.
And like,
just put this
whatever.
red tag.
It is what it is. The game is silly enough that like you see someone flying around spawning sentry guns, it's like, oh, Payday, innit? But it's much more of an issue with Payday 3 were they to potentially add microtransaction store. And obviously Payday 2's also had massive issues with piracy for its DLC. Because of how poorly protected that is. So I think they're definitely something that will be written in their sort of board meetings. Like, we need a way to actually protect our IP, which I get. That does make sense. But yeah, it's cheating. It is interconnectivity to some degree. I think there are other options, like we could have a full offline mode where you can't progress. That sounds awful to me, but like, you know, it's different. It is a true offline mode in a sense. I don't know. I think it's perceived as mandatory internally, so it's not a point that they're gonna break on. It's like it's a line they won't cross. I don't think, regardless. Like the game will go down before they do a true online mode.
Offline mode.
Offline mode. I hear online's working fine now, but at first we didn't have a true online mode either. So
I think the irony when it came to the whole, like, we are doing this online only to combat piracy and all that. Whilst people like me were wearing a Hoxer mask, sleeping on stream, waiting to get into a game, pirates literally hosted their own servers, their own dedicated servers, and were playing the game.
Good lord.
Like,
oh yeah.
That's irony. That is the biggest form of irony. You know, the one it's just like we're doing this to combat cheating and piracy, and I mean, I hate to say it, but who are the people laughing at the end? You know, who got the last laugh almost?
Where's the guy on Reddit posting the player charts for the pirate service? That's what I want to know.
True. I need to see that. That'd be hilarious to see. Oh man.
Speaking of Reddit, by the way, have you seen that guy who the one like true savior of the Payday the heist Reddit? It's the guy that's posting like UI improvements, and they're
I've
just
heard
like
about it.
sick, nasty, incredible. Like, dude just needs to be hired.
I'm so glad you brought that up, dude. Because it's the menu ones, right? Some guy just revamped the menus. Holy shit! They look incredible.
Well.
No, yeah, they look incredible. Like, I hope they see that.
Real quick.
Yeah, please look it up. And it's like, please take notes. Please take notes. Have a look at them. I think there's like 4 or 5 different iterations. There's a few. He sort of ramped up, didn't he, in terms of like, you know, user interface. Like one of them just looked like COD Mobile. You know, it was like, nah, I'm good. But there was
also like listening to feedback and. Yeah, like actually the role of the game developer.
I know, crazy. It's like, really wait, he's taking feedback and improving his work from feedback from the community.
My 8th iteration of the UI.
Oh my god!
Look at it. It's
please
really good.
Look it up.
I used to clip from it in one of my videos, and people are like, "What the hell? Why is that so good?"
That's hot.
It kind of looks like
that's good.
It kind of looks like
hire this man. Hire him. Or her, I don't know.
That's
great. Like opportunities to be like, you know, get a little bit of good PR and be like, we have hired your Reddit member. I mean, I guess it's a bit harder when they might not be based in Sweden. But hey, remote work.
Work from home. It's the new norm, I guess.
I vouch. I'll give them a reference.
Yeah.
Phone me up.
Yeah, I had to post a link of that in chat. That is really amazing work. Holy shit.
It's so impressive. It's so impressive.
Yeah, that crime net. Talk about immersion. That's what we need. That's that.
Yeah. See what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine loading up after like most of the major changes?
Yeah.
And it just being the same menu. I'd be like, oh, I don't care anymore. Oh,
okay.
We'll start a host.
Honestly, though,
Safehouse. Oh, come on,
dude! Imagine loading into the game and seeing one of those menus rather than what we have now. I'd literally be like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in the mood to jump into a heist." Like, I'm. Some might say, "Oh, it's oversaturated," you know, over complicated. There's too many buttons. To that, I say, "Shut up." Honestly, because look, I think what made Payday 2's UI and the style of it so, what resonated with the fans the most is that sort of feeling that it was sort of like this put together kind of tool. You know, you got the crime.net like with the underscores and for certain texts and stuff. Like it's all like like put together really haphazardly kind of thing, and it, like you feel you. It's like you feel like Batman but it's like you feel like Dallas Payday, you know? It's like that's how it was though, honestly, in Payday 2. Like I mentioned, I sometimes just log in and like just messing around with the menus before I hop into a heist. So I'm just like it's just so seamless as well, honestly. Like look, the skill trees are a great example. They're all there, you can just click on the different tabs. But once again, they love to waste your time in Payday 3, so you're just scrolling through. I want to get to transport. So I want Scrambler, but yeah, man, it's just it's a pain in the backside. Like once again, it's like the more you start picking apart these little things, the more you just it gets your blood boiling a bit. Because with Payday 2, it's just done so seamlessly, and everything's just there in front of you. It's ease of play again, which is sorely lacking in Payday 3. It's just, yeah.
So is your general feeling at this point that Operation Medic Bag is going to be like step in the right direction, but maybe not enough?
Once again, it's like just
wait and see.
Actions
We'll
needed. We'll see. For now, I sleep and I beatbox and I sing guitar stuff, and then when Medic Bag update drops, you know, I'm woke, real shit. Okay, and then I'm like stumbling over my words because that's kind of how I feel at this point. It's just sort of like, I guess we'll wait. You know what I mean? I'll wait a bit longer, but I think there's a lot of people in the community now that have that feeling of like, look, I'm just done with waiting. Like, we need something, because if we're gonna have this Medic Bag update and then not another update for like another 4 months or something, which they stated on the Reddit AMA, I think something like they want to increase update frequency to like 4 to 6 weeks after they dropped it. I think that was the wording they said. They wanted to keep consistent updates for like every month or so, which that's better.
Oh, like a
that's
live
a lot,
service game?
That's ideal.
That's a lot better than 3 to 4 months after every update. That's pretty good if you ask me. But honestly, I'd love for them to just do the normal thing, which would be if they drop an update and there's a bug, like a bad bug, I don't want to wait another month or so for that bug to be patched. I'd rather them just get a small team and go, right, let's put a little hotfix out in the middle and just, you know, tighten up a few things, and then we'll release the next big patch. I just think that's what needs to happen, honestly.
Yeah, at launch that had more to do with their status as like a verified
the certification
patcher.
Stuff, yeah.
But now it's not, and we've had the same patch for 3 months.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of like major updates, is it a necessity to switch engines to UE5? Is that like why is that on the table? Why?
I mean, it's literally been put as far back on the table now as it possibly can be.
But
keep it on the table in the corner. Just keep it in
the far corner. Cover it up with
table.
papers.
You know, dinner party or like a party where you got all the good stuff and then the salad's just in the corner. No one touched the salad, really. You're there for a good time. It's just keep it with the salads with the open packets of cheese and whatnot. Just pack it over there. You know.
I mean, if I was a marketing person, the way I would be looking to spin this was like, we got the UE5 update. It's Payday 3 2.0, because the game does feel like it needs another soft launch. So, you know, and it needs it needs something to go alongside that. But I completely get why they're up and on the back burner.
It's very similar though to how
asking for it.
Yeah, but it's very similar to how Cyberpunk managed everything. We all know what happened with Cyberpunk in its launch date. However, I argue though that Cyberpunk was much better when it came to I could actually play the damn game, you know. But no, with the way they handled it over there at CD Projekt Red was just, once again, they openly apologized, and they didn't, obviously, you know, you're under NDAs, so you can't go into the nitty gritty stuff behind the scenes, but it's like, look, we're going to promise, we're going to fix the game, we're going to give you the game you guys deserve, and that they just, after that, they shut their doors, they shut up, they got to work, and then patch, and they just kept consistently taking feedback from the community, take feedback, patching, like that. That's what needs to happen here. They just need to go, all right, well, they've done it. They've opened up the community feedback, of course, and they always have done that. Let's not kid ourselves. They have always listened to us. Like, it's not that they're completely ignoring us, but I just feel like at the moment, it does feel like there is just so much hesitation at the moment when it comes to acting upon things at the moment. It just, something doesn't sit well with me with that. I think that in the past, whenever they have had some dodgy times, they have hold their hands up and go, yeah, you know what, we messed up, we're going to correct this. Whereas now it's sort of like, are you going to come with, you're talking the talk, you're going to walk the walk now? Like, Because right now, it's almost like we really do have to wait until Operation Medic Bag is out the door for us to really go, right, what does the future hold? Because if they drop it and people are still not exactly satisfied with it, right? It's sort of like, well, it's once again that waiting game. And are people giving up waiting now? Are people jump shift and move to other games? Are people just giving up? Are they just going to stick with Payday 2 forever? Like, that's sort of the general consensus.
Here's my solid opinion on that. If they can't get it fixed before Den of Wolves drops, then it's probably going to be dead in the water.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, but because Ulf, like, shit, he does great work regardless. I mean, Payday the Heist, Payday 2, fucking GTFO. Yeah. And Den of Wolves.
I don't think it's as close as we might want it to be, though. Payday 3 will want it to be as far out as possible, but I don't think that's as immediate a worry for them as it might seem.
Well, yeah, but it's just a matter of, like, the community interest. Like, at this point, we're like abused housewives coming back.
That's such a good analogy.
Like, it's constant with the shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still love the game, we still love the franchise and IP, but
there's only so much
someone could fill that void.
They make it hard to love sometimes.
Yeah, there's only so much we can take at the end of the day. Like, there really is. And like I mentioned earlier, like, whenever we talk about stuff, we talk about our frustrations and we get a bit heated and we get a bit angry and we think, oh, what if? But it's just because we, like, once, like you mentioned at the start, people like me and all you hear, like, 10 years we've been with the franchise and the series, and maybe a little bit longer if you've been with since the very beginning, Payday the Heist, because I joined Payday 2 and then I went back and played Payday the Heist. But for the most part, like, this is 10 years of our lives that we've been dedicated to this company, to these people. Like, we do believe in them. Like, we're there. Like, we believe in you guys. Just give us something, man. Like, yeah, it's just at that point now where it's like, have people stopped believing, or are people just waiting? And I think that at the moment, for the most part, people are just hoping and they're waiting. They're sort of on, like, they're like one foot's out the shower, one foot's still in, like, one in the cold and in the hot a little bit. It's sort of like, oh, I don't really know what to do here. Do I stay on board or do I get out now? It's just, I don't know. That's very conflicted at the moment, emotions wise.
Fair enough. Any final thoughts, anybody, before we close out?
No.
Fair enough.
Apparently not.
Actually, I have a couple more questions actually about your music. Just little minor things. So, say, what's been some of the, would you say, like, tougher tracks to recreate in the Payday 2 and 3 soundtracks?
Oh, Payday 3. Oh, that's hard. I mean, I'll say now that up until Syntax era, it's really weird, because I think that with Payday 2 there's a plethora of tracks, and I think that the OG tracks that I've been remaking, this isn't me saying that I'm the best and everything, but when it comes to making the Payday 2 tracks, the OG tracks, like, I feel like the song structure in them, especially the OG tracks, I don't know if anyone in the chat is very music-y, but the song structure is a bit basic. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that, look, Simon also was voicing Bane and other characters, right? So he was doing other things alongside making the music, which makes sense. And then as time went on, you could see the evolution of the music, right? You could see that he was adding a bit more into the stealth portions. And then you get to tracks like Hotline Miami, the Evil Eye, and Hot Pursuit, where he just unexpectedly blew all of us away with those two tracks. And then from then on in, it was just banger after banger, of course. No, in terms of recreating, like, the hardest songs to recreate, I think that with the Payday 2 tracks at the moment, they're not too complex, but I think that the more that I go through the catalog, they're going to ramp up. I mean, Break the Rules, great example.
That's a great one.
I see it there in my folders, like, I'm shaking. Like, oh, I don't know how to start this one.
So whenever we
and that
Oh god.
Oh god. Oh, Carl Noren, I absolutely love you, but Jesus Christ, I can't stand that track. That's gonna be carnage. It's really funny. Like, I think one of the most underrated tracks. I mean, that was one thing I wanted to get from people, like your favorite tracks as well. But for me, a top 5 track in Payday 2 for me is Bullet Rain from Brooklyn 1010. I adore that track to pieces. I think it just hits so hard. But yeah, no, but going back to the original question, I went on a bit of a tangent, sorry. But with Payday 3, the hardest ones to recreate for me, well, the top 2 anyway, was probably Golden Shark and probably 99 Boxes, just doing the doing the wee-roos for that. Oh god. Just I have some absolutely horrific audio files of me screeching in here. And I'll tell you what, I'm surprised I didn't get any noise complaints, honestly. But I have done a syntax error. I can say that. I'm kind of holding on to it, though, because I just sort of want the community to be more receptive to it. I feel like maybe when all the year one's done, I'll drop them. Same with Cook-Off, same with Murky. And yeah, shout out to Mario again. Shout out to Almir for jumping on, because we got Almir on Dirty Ice. I reached out to a few people, and Almir was one of them. And he came through with the bangers on Dirty Ice. He does the guitars and that. Same with Mario. Mario's sung his fucking heart out on Golden Shark. And very last minute, I reached out and I was like, "Do you want to sing Big Chungus?" And he just came back with singing Big Chungus, and we had to implement that. So yeah, Golden Shark was definitely a challenge. But I think going forward, I'm very excited to see what A, Gustavo is cooking, and B, just when I drop Volume 1 of Payday 2 soundtrack, I'm interested to see, because obviously I'll do it by volume or what. I don't know how I'm going to structure it, but I'm probably going to go by the heist order, maybe. Or if I hit a certain subscriber milestone, I might just be like, here's a fan favorite. Here's another fan favorite. Here's another fan favorite. But yeah, I can't wait. Like, I generally can't wait for people to listen to them. Like, I put so much work in. I'm not just trying to like blow smoke up my own, you know what, but like I put so much work into these, and I love it. I really love doing these just to put smiles on people's faces. And going forward from Payday 3's tracks and into the future, I'm gonna keep doing them because I really enjoy making them.
That's
but
awesome.
but yeah.
What
are your favorite tracks? What are your favorite tracks though? I'm curious.
Personally, for Payday 2, it was TikTok.
Oh, okay.
I love TikTok.
Yeah.
I have that on my Payday 2 CD from the Payday 3 special edition. But
all right.
whatchamacallit? What was it? I'm sorry. Gunmetal Gray. Jesus.
Oh,
Gunmetal
well,
Gray.
the OG or the 20.
Honestly, I like them both, but I do like the OG better.
OG, yeah, fair play, yeah.
What about you two?
I mean, I'm a big Flames of Love fan. I'm Flames of Love #1 fan. But
Oh, God.
as far as heist tracks, probably Code Silver is up there.
I'm the same in that like this is our time is
This Is Our Time is so good also.
such a
That was a great
actually
one.
good song. But for heist tracks, I've actually like recency bias has got me, and I'm like a massive fan of the last DLC campaign, like Trailblazers, On the Road.
On the
I
Road
just-
is so good too.
I'm just begging them to add just the whole Payday 2 catalog to Spotify, everything else. I think people just want that. Like, yeah, they dropped the China pack and they dropped the what was the other my mind's gone blank. It's got Bone Breaker in it. It's a banger. What's that campaign called? Silk Road.
Silk Road.
They dropped Silk Road. That's got some bangers in it as well. But I just want to rev around in my car listening to Hot Pursuit whilst I'm speeding down the road, you know? I'd love to do that. Not speed. I ain't breaking no rules, but I'm just saying.
There's a
driving.
couple I want to put in my definitely driving the legal speed limit playlist.
Yes.
You know, I would never dream
Absolutely.
of admitting to crimes on the internet, but definitely
We
driving the speed
commit
limit.
we commit crimes in game,
Exactly,
not in real life,
exactly.
guys.
Oh yeah. And out of curiosity, once we get down to that volume, whenever you it's time to recreate Ode to Greed, are we going to get some Latin vocals on there, or are you just gonna do it
You
just
gotta.
the beat?
You gotta
Yeah, I
do the
mean,
vocals.
because technically there's two versions, but we love our vocals.
If it's in the track, I gotta kind of do it,
You
right?
gotta do
I
it.
have
Fair enough.
I have to give it my best. I gotta really give it my all in this sense.
Really put your
you know?
back into it.
I will give you my all, pretty baby. I'm telling you. But no. Yeah, on my final say would be I can't wait for people to just listen to it, and I'm gonna drop my plan is to have like a Google Doc link if people want to just take the files, mod them, do what they want with it. I'm just gonna have fun with these projects coming up until Payday 3 gets good, hopefully.
Truly soon.
But yeah, no, but it's nice though because in between Payday 2, hopefully we got the Boys in Blue heist coming up, for example. I can't wait to see what Gus has for that, and then DLC 3. I can't remember the name of it. But then we got DLC 4 as well. But then in between that, go back to Payday 2, do the tracks there. So yeah, there's always something for me to do, I guess. I mean, how many? There's like 84 plus. Yeah, 84 heists in the game. All of them have tracks for them. It's a lot of work, but you know,
Yeah, man.
Payday 3 will be fixed by the time you're done.
Exactly.
Perfect.
let's place bets in the chat. What's gonna get done first? Payday 3 getting fixed, or me going through the entire catalog? Oh man.
At this point, I'd say the catalog.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because what is fixed
hell, I'm
also,
good
you
to
know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what exactly do you mean by fixed?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, true.
All right, and I think that's a great note to leave off on. LilGuyG, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, keep an eye out for his all acapella Payday soundtrack recreation. And yeah, any closing remarks, anybody, before we sign out?
I'm just gonna say really quick. I have just dropped Full Force Forward from the Payday 2 soundtrack, but it's only my voice. I dropped it yesterday, and I've also done the entire Payday 3 soundtrack. If you wanna give it a listen and have your ears be cursed or blessed, depending on how you look at it.
Bangers. They're bangers, trust.
All right, and thank you so much, guys. And yeah, till next time, guys.